G'day everyone, welcome to my brand new channel. What this channel is all about, stuff that happens in your head that we're not aware is happening. Things like depression, anxiety, grief, loss, loss of employment, loneliness, and all those things that we suffer and we don't talk about. So that's what my channel is going to be all about. And today it's a You OK Day. We celebrate a You OK Day thanks to a wonderful man, and I'll talk more about that after this. Stick around. Welcome back. My name's Henry and I've decided to call this channel The Guiding Man. Now, why is it called The Guiding Man? My full-time job used to be as a driver and a guide, driving all over this wonderful country of Australia. As you probably gathered, for those of you that are from overseas, I'm from Australia. Originally I'm from another country, but that's another story. I'll talk about that another day. But my job was to be a driver and guide. We used to travel with our beautiful company all over Australia, but thanks to a wonderful COVID, that's no longer going to be happening for a little while anyway. At the moment it is September 2020, so for those of you that are going to keep an eye on when this happened, it is September, so we're hopefully towards the end of COVID, but you know, who knows, what politicians and everything else, but that's another story. So this channel is all about all the stuff that we suffer from. I was going to base it just purely on guys, but you know what? A lot of my friends, a lot of my lady friends suffer from that as well. So that's the main thing I want to talk about, the male side of it. Now, one of the first things I want to talk to you about is that I have no formal qualifications. I am not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I am a 59-year-old man who's been living on this wonderful earth for 59 years. And I've suffered from just about all those things we talk about. I've had depression, I've had anxiety, I've had grief loss, I've had loneliness. You could be in a wonderful house with a family and kids and still be lonely for some reason. So it's something that I want to talk to you about and how I dealt with it. And one of my favorite things to talk about is meditation. It's one of my subjects that's very close to my heart. I went through a bad state of depression, and that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm going to dedicate one whole program or one video just purely on depression, and I'm going to talk about myself very, very close to the bone, if you like. But it's something that I think if you're really going to face the problems that we all have in this beautiful day and age, you really got to face up to yourself. And the first way to actually start healing process is to admit to yourself that you do have a problem. And most of us, particularly blokes, guys, you won't admit to anything. So this channel is all about how I dealt with it, and I've got quite a few friends that want to be part of it. Some of them are close to workmates. One of them is a very good friend of my son's who was contemplating suicide, and how I stepped in and I talked to him a lot. I went through depression and I was contemplating suicide about 20 odd years ago, so I'm going to tell you my little story. Very personal story, but it's the only way. I'm hoping that grabs somebody out there who's having issues and you can come and talk to me. Pretend I'm your friend that you can tell everything to. So I'm going to talk about lots of things. We're going to talk about anxiety, particularly now with all the stuff that's happening with COVID. There's a lot of very anxious people. I myself have lost my job, not really knowing when I'm going to get back to work, but it's been like 5 months, and initially it was like, yeah, we'll be back next month, but yeah, now it's 5 months and I've had to look for other work. At the moment I've got 2 jobs, so I really want to get back to guiding and driving beautiful coaches for a wonderful company here in Australia. But there's lots of things you can do. The first thing is reaching out to somebody. As I mentioned earlier, it is a You OK Day, and it's a wonderful thing to actually reach out to your mate and say, hey, how you going? Are you okay? Talk to me. There's nothing wrong with actually reaching out to somebody and say, look, I don't feel well. I feel this or that, the other. And that's the first sign that you actually want to heal yourself. It's a problem is when people don't reach out and then they go out and jump off a bridge or something like that. Now, I started doing meditation over 20 years ago, and I was actually appeared on television on Channel 10 on a men's health program. So in the next program, the next video, I'll put a link to it below, and that way you guys can see what I talked about. Around about 16 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, when I actually appeared on television. But my mental health problem was maybe 4 years before that. So loss of as well of a family member, that can trigger of anxiety and depression. You know, hearing disorders, you know, there's all sort of different disorders, you know, eating disorders, there's all sorts of things that we'll suffer from, and it's probably, you know, you feel like you're lonely, you're alone, you know, particularly with guys, you can't reach out to a girl. How do you talk to a girl? How do you do this? How do you do that? So I'm going to tell you all the different things that I went through, and it worked for me. So hopefully you'll enjoy this channel. Now, what I will ask you is, if you find that it's interesting, subscribe, because I plan to do maybe one a week if I can. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'm going to try to do as many as I can, at least once a week. If you think it's a good program, maybe give a like as well, because the more subscriptions and the more likes we get, it'll be shared out to the public. If you have a friend who's going through a little bit of a depression, particularly male friends, maybe send them a link of this and say, hey, watch this, see what this guy's got to say. And hopefully we can all benefit from it. So my goal is, if I can save one person, you know, I'd feel a lot better about it. Personally, I've already had 2 friends that reached out, and we talked about it. We had a coffee, and I could almost honestly say that I saved their lives. And it's not something that I want to pat on the back or anything like that. I think it's my job here on earth to actually, since I've gone through it and I got through it well, to help others get through it. So as I said, if you know somebody that needs some help, maybe send them the link. And then there's comments below as well. You can leave a comment and say, Henry, or whatever, why don't you talk about this or that, or what's your, you know, impression on this. Hopefully, if I don't get too many comments, I'll be able to answer all of them individually. If I get a lot of comments, well, it'll be good. That means the channel is working. So all about mental health and stuff that we go through. Again, I am not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist. I've just been on earth for 59 years as of September 20, and I think I want to help some other people. So stick around. My next video will be all about depression. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you very shortly.